And we are back live from the break on the hottest show in the streets in terms of Alabama football talk. This is In My Own Words with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, live in studios. We began the conversation to start this week of shows on Pete Golding. At this point, he will be the defensive coordinator for the University of Alabama football program in the 2019 season. You have fans that are happy about this. You have some that are going, what in the world is Nick Saban thinking? But we'll see what happens. Pete Golding may pleasantly surprise everybody. We'll see what happens. But before we get into part two here of the show, got to remind you, Alabama fans, you want the best in Alabama news, notes, and information, the very essence of Crimson Tide football. What are you waiting for? Check out the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. I'm telling you, the best in practice recaps, game recaps, highlights, recruiting, press conferences, player interviews. We are the plug. You're craving Crimson Tide football 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We're hitting you with cutting-edge content, fresh material, something new every single day for the Tide fans out there. You can download the app via the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you are with Team Android. Got an audio option for you as well. If you are a fan of In My Own Words, you can check out the podcast now on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes. If you got a MacBook, Apple Podcasts for the mobile option for the iPhone. You can even catch us on overcastfm.com podcast site, Stitcher, Spotify, and TuneIn Radio. So absolutely no excuse to not check out the hottest show on the streets in terms of Crimson Tide football. But diving into topic number two here. The biggest news of the week that came out on Sunday, Nick Saban finalizing his coaching staff. The biggest piece coming in on the defensive line as Nick Saban poaching a second coach from Mississippi State University. Program already has brought in Charles Huff to coach running backs. Now it has Bryan Baker for the defensive line. Bryan Baker, who has over 30 years of coaching experience, including 19 in the National Football League. Craig Kulagowski, who served as defensive line coach and associate head coach this past season, not expected to return for the coming fall. So Bryan Baker is the man here. When you look at Baker, he started his career in the pros in 1996 with the San Diego Chargers that are now, of course, in Los Angeles. But when he was there, was in San Diego. After the 96 season, he would work with the Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings, the Los Angeles Rams at that point in time. They were in St. Louis, the Carolina Panthers, the Dallas Cowboys, the Cleveland Browns, and the Washington Redskins. Some of the Hall of Fame names that Baker produced include DeMarcus Ware for the Dallas Cowboys, Anthony Spencer for the Cowboys, Jay Ratliff for that same team, Kevin Williams for the Minnesota Vikings, Julius Peppers for the Carolina Panthers, Charles Johnson for the Carolina Panthers, Robert Porcher for the Detroit Lions, and Luther Ellis for that same team. So a lot of big names, a lot of marquee guys in the National Football League that Bryan Baker has had his hand in molding, developing, putting big-time careers together. The last 3 seasons, he was in Starkville, Mississippi, Davis Wade Stadium, in which he helped put together one of the nastiest defensive lines in college football. In 2 of the last 3 years, State has been the team that has given Alabama the most issues as far as pressuring the quarterback, stopping the run, really being physical against Alabama's offensive line. Mississippi State this past season was one of 3 teams that held the Crimson Tide under 30 points, joining the likes of Clemson, who held Alabama to 16, and LSU, who held Alabama to 29 points. Mississippi State held Alabama to 24 points. So Bryan Baker did a big-time job with that defensive line. This past season, the Bulldogs finishing second in scoring defense, giving up 13, 0.2 points per game, coming behind Clemson. Mississippi State first in total defense. It was not Ohio State. It was not Alabama. It was not LSU. It was not Clemson. It was Mississippi State that finished first in the country in total defense, giving up 263.1 yards per contest. Baker's positioning two guys, Jeffrey Simmons and Montez Sweat, on the defensive line as projected top 15 picks for the upcoming draft venue. The man has done an unbelievable job in getting him to the University of Alabama to where he's got a chance to work with LeBron Ray, Raekwon Davis, Fedarian Mathis, Antonio Alfano, DJ Dale, just some freak athletes. This 2019 class defensively is coming in hungry. You got some guys returning from last season coming back hungry because they want to finish the job and win a national championship. Now, I know a lot of fans were wondering, why couldn't Alabama bring Bo Davis back? He was huge in Tuscaloosa during his 2 stints with the Tide, producing names like Jonathan Allen, A'Shawn Robinson, Jaron Reed, guys like Deshaun Hand, Dalvin Tomlinson. In recent seasons, we're talking about Terrence Cody, Jesse Williams, Josh Chapman, Marcel Darius, and it would have been huge to get Bo Davis back. Unfortunately, his show clause with the NCAA does not end until April 13th, which is Alabama's spring game. Nick Saban would not have enough time to bring him in here, but not just have enough time, Bo Davis wouldn't have enough time to come in, put his philosophy in order, and immediately work with these guys. And with all the talent you got on this campus, these players need a coach right now that can come in, put the philosophy in order, get into the grind, and making sure these guys know what to do. So having Brian Baker in, huge for the Crimson Tide as it finalizes this coaching staff. Probably in the next couple of weeks or so, either before National Signing Day, people, or after signing day, Nick Saban will make that announcement either via press release to the media or updating the RollTide.com site so you can see all the new coaches being hired to the University of Alabama. But the biggest news of the week, Crimson Tide bringing in Brian Baker from Mississippi State, who has spent 19 seasons in the National Football League. Very huge hire for the Crimson Tide moving forward. Taking our final break here, folks, on In My Own Words. When we get back, kind of an interesting topic. There's a name that's a big name in Tuscaloosa. Played at the University of Alabama, was a leadership guy, team captain, has his hand print and cleat print enshrined at Getty Images. A guy that had a 10-year career in the National Football League. Fans love him, very decorative guy. There's a guy that was big in Tuscaloosa, but for some reason, his name does not appear in the rumor mills in terms of being able to come back to the university and help out in the coaching capacity on defense. Who is this name I'm referring to? Why has he not got a call? Will he ever get a call to come back and help? This comes up on the other side of the break as we tidy up some loose ends. Don't go anywhere, folks. Be right back.